To the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you all are having a fantastic Wednesday. We're here from Lombard, Illinois Media School, giving you one of the best shows in the country. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud honor to finally welcome back, after his long voyage at sea with his man Wilson, he has returned to us a little bit darker, a little bit more scruffy, but he's still alive and in one piece. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mr. Tyler Prickett. Woo! Welcome back, Tyler.
I'm back. I feel like I have neglected my own son here at X-Bomb Sports. No,
You went for a pack of smokes and you just never came back, man.
Yeah, I said I'm going to get some, a gallon of milk, maybe even 2 gallons. And, Mom called and asked for, some carrots and onions. And I said, screw it, I'm out. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you guys are welcoming me back with open arms because I have had a long hiatus.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we're glad you're back. We're glad you had a nice little vacation. But now it's time to get back to work, man. You've missed a lot since you've been back.
I have.
So we're not going to
fairly jealous, actually.
I know, man. I had a few things ready for you and everything, and then you're not showing up, and I'm like, well, now I got to give it to these guys, and they're just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, those boneheads back there. No, I'm kidding.
We love you guys. Yeah, I know, Tom. I know, Jake. Yeah. Well, you ready for this one, man? Because it's going to be an exciting one.
I'm excited.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this one started. We're going to hit you with, first off, I'm going to try this one out here. It's a real quick one. I'm calling it the Shell Shock Quick News. These are all the news items that I saw come up that were kind of big, important, funny, whatever you want to call it, that I just thought were interesting. So I'm just going to list these off real fast, and then we'll get right into the big news. So first things first, for the big news, if you guys didn't hear, St. Louis has been awarded a new MLS team. They're going to be the newest team in the expansion franchises. They will be starting play in 2020. The team has yet to list its name, but already I can give you one. I can tell you right now, congratulations to St. Louis on that. Some other upcoming news for MLS as well. It's been reported that David Beckham's MLS team that is going to be in Miami. Apparently, the land has now been deemed too toxic after levels of ammonium sulfite and other poisonous material was found on the land, so it's been deemed too hazardous to build on.
That's a rough situation there.
Yeah, absolutely. Carly Lloyd hit a 55-yard field goal for the Eagles-Ravens joint practice just for the show of it. Bears, if you're looking for a kicker, I know somebody who can hit some long ones for you. The Sun Bowl has officially been given a new name. According to Kellogg, they will be renaming it the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. That's going to be an interesting one. And finally, for the big news, Steph Curry has made a 7-figure gift to Howard University to help bring back the golf program there. So, Steph Curry, hats off to you, man. Really good big there. And that is the news for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. And now on to the big news, of course. We're going to kick this one off.
Wait, pause.
Yes.
I don't think you're going to get to this. Did you see the XFL announce their 8-team list?
I did.
Yeah, I think I'm a St. Louis fan.
Yeah.
The Battlehawks.
I don't know. I mean,
I have to see the rosters first because the rosters are trash.
I want to see the expansion teams that come after that, like the Chicago Bullies, the Los Angeles Bad Boys, because every team that is part of the XFL is just like the word of an 8-year-old child that's like, give me your lunch money. That is exactly what the names of these teams
Battlehawk
are.
is kind of a cool name though.
That is. I'll give him that one. That one's pretty good. I like that. There's
a couple cool ones, but for the most part they're pretty basic, like the AFL teams or AAF teams.
Yeah. Hopefully the games are not going to be terrible.
No,
that's all you got to cross your fingers for.
Yeah, and St. Louis is playing at the old Rams Stadium.
Oh boy.
So, I mean, obviously Vince
Vince
McMahon has a lot of money. So I don't think this league is gonna, falter like the AFL.
Hopefully not.
AAF.
Yeah.
Jeez,
well, hopefully not like his first time trying.
That irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the first big news, obviously, we kind of mentioned it a little bit back while before. Antonio Brown has yet again hit us with another grievance to the NFL, this one having to do more so with how he's been treated with the helmet situation. So Antonio Brown, a little history for what's happened. Traded from the Steelers to the Raiders for a 3rd and a 5th round pick with additional, of course. Ends up going to France on vacation and or for this treatment, unsure. It was never really cleared. Does the cryotherapy, ends up not wearing the proper footwear, gets frostbite on his feet, really messes them up. can't really practice, can't really prepare himself very well. Then all of a sudden gets back to Raiders camp, trying to do a little bit of the workouts. We saw Hard Knocks and stuff. After that week, you've got the whole grievance for the helmet. NFL says you're going to be in breach of contract. He goes back to camp. And now he's filed yet another grievance about saying, hey, you gave Brady the 1-year grace period. Can't you give me the 1-year grace period? And we're now in a complete and utter black hole of Antonio Brown.
With this whole black hole, exactly. It's in Oakland.
Yeah.
You know,
thank you. Yeah,
that's funny. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. But it's just like it's one of those things where, I mean, Tyler, what do you make of all this? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how much are you really believing all this, helmet grievance stuff? Are you really buying into this, or what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna say what someone told me, and what their thoughts on it is actually my dad. He thought that it was just like a spin-off for Hard Knocks, and just like to get people
just
to watch it, see what's going on there, and maybe to spike some viewership. But I actually think there is some like real stuff going on here with him. I think he's a total drama queen and diva.
He's new Terrell Owens.
He's the new T.O., yes.
Yeah.
And I just think it's hilarious because everybody came at me saying Odell, because Odell's my favorite player, if you didn't know. Because I love LSU and everything like that. But no,
I respect that.
Just basically, like everybody said, Odell is he's a cancer locker room, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And now Antonio Brown, the poster boy of the NFL, is doing all this stuff, and it's hilarious in my opinion. But nonetheless, I just think it's he's gonna play. I think he's gonna play. He's refiling a grievance with the same people he lost the grievance for just because he felt they handled the situation wrong. That's going to go literally nowhere. He's doing nothing for himself other than drawing media attention, which is all he's really good for at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just shut up and play. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, when we talked about this before, I mean, we didn't really dive too deep into this, and I don't know how deep we'll really dive into this, at the end of it all, but certainly my first impressions for this was that it feels like he's just doing this out of being upset about the fact that the Steelers said, this is all you're worth to us, a third and a fifth. Well, good luck in Oakland.
He drove his draft pick stock down because he was an idiot.
Right.
I mean, they literally couldn't get nothing for him.
Yeah, it's tough because this is a guy who, if you trace it all the way back to his draft profile and his rookie report, it says in there, makes great plays, really good, great on the speeds, great downfield threat, may become an issue was one of his big knocks. He didn't really get along with a lot of guys in the locker room. Not to the degree of major, but he had his little fits here and there. So, and
Central Michigan.
Central Michigan.
He's probably the only talent they got.
Yeah. So,
Chippewas.
You put up with a lot there, and, being a 6th round pick, obviously, it's a really nice story because he's become one of the elite of the elite.
Right.
He's somebody who, I wouldn't say first ballot. I'd say maybe he does get in there. He has the numbers, certainly.
It's gonna determine. And one of the things I think is like he's lucky to have Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback.
Oh yeah,
a guy who's kind of like Brett Favre, just chucks and ducks.
Right.
He gets plays done. He gets you the ball in your hand like you want. I mean, you get probably 15 targets a game.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you're not going to get that much production. I mean, thinking you're going to go to Derek Carr and have the same stats is not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's really going to be determinant of him being in the GOAT discussion is what he does moving on from the Steelers. Because I feel like you put Odell, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams with a guy like Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, obviously, Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But I'm saying anybody, they can put up just as good, if not better numbers because they are better. In my opinion, I don't think talent-wise, Antonio Brown is, maybe top 5, 6 receivers in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's not number 1.
No, I mean, look, before this whole situation, I was saying I think he is one of the best wide receivers. I don't know if I would put him number 1, but I think he was definitely like top 3 for certain.
Just he makes consistency factor. He's very consistent.
He makes his plays. He makes really big plays. He's a big factor.
Yeah,
he's good. He's good for 10 touchdowns possibly. But again, like you said, and like a lot of people have said, everything he's done have come with the Hall of Fame quarterback and Ben Roethlisberger. We don't know what he can do when he's not playing with those guys.
Right.
I mean, he looked decent at, when he was back in college, and obviously you're not a Hall of Fame quarterback then. He's just dealing with, Joe Schmo, who's ever throwing him the ball.
Yep.
But now you put him with Derek Carr, who I think he's still an effective quarterback.
Yeah, he was borderline going for an MVP season.
Yeah.
and
But
bring
now-
Oakland to the playoffs, and then he
Yeah.
breaks his leg.
Yeah,
Like,
but now you've got, not only do you have a quarterback that, who knows about his health. He seems like he's
Right.
good, and he seems like he might be able to get the ball to Antonio Brown. But now you add that on top of your new head coach, who has all these crazy West Coast plays, loves the crossing routes, loves the little, trying to do a lot of the bubble screen stuff.
Right.
Also likes to throw it over the top too. Certainly, that's
Yep.
kind of John Gruden's thing. But he's so old school, and Antonio Brown's trying to be so new school with this. It just feels like this whole thing's not clicking. I really do think that this whole grievance thing, for me, it just feels like this whole grievance thing is like, I don't want to be an Oakland Raider. I hate this. He's like, I hate this situation. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't want to move to Las Vegas next year. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
He wanted to go to a team. I think every player wants to go to a team
Yeah.
that wants to win a championship. And a lot of these teams, Odell Beckham Jr. just said it with the Giants. They sent me to Cleveland to try and send a message to me like, we don't need you. We're going to send you to
sending there to
Siberia or
die.
something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Which you played yourself. But
Right.
no, like that's like amazing for Odell's career.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
Not to get off on a topic or anything like that, but
I mean,
going back
it's
to the
like a
Antonio
good
Brown
fit.
thing. Have you been watching Hard Knocks at all?
I've watched the first one. I haven't caught up yet with the second or third.
Well, you've probably seen this. Well, then close your ears.
Yeah.
No, but Antonio
I don't
Brown
mind
basically
hearing.
says like John Gruden, like he was having a little chat with them. I don't know
Yeah.
if they knew they were on air or not on air, but like on camera,
Yeah.
and being able to be heard. Like they didn't know if the microphones were on or whatever. But he said to John Gruden basically like, "You've had my back throughout this whole thing, blah blah blah. I'm so happy to have you,
Right.
and stuff like that." And like John Gruden he's been transparent with the media and everything, saying like, we support him, blah blah blah. And then the whole thing that really turned was Mike Mayock saying, it's put up or shut up time. You're either all in or all out. And I think he got the message by showing up with his teammates and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's more so at this point just finding a helmet that's comfortable to him.
And I can
he's saying is like
understand that.
impairing his vision.
Yeah.
Which I think they will find a solution. I
Right.
mean, who can't make a helmet that's going to work out for this guy?
I mean,
He's going to be on the field.
Yeah, he's probably he'll find something. He'll play eventually.
Right.
My just biggest thing is like with all these distractions, obviously, and from what I saw, obviously I haven't seen the last two episodes of Hard Knocks, but from just that first episode, from what I saw, it just seemed like everything was a circus. From the whole Ronald Ollie from Last Chance U being on there, just felt like it was like, and here's a chance to put like a star from another show in front of the TV.
Right.
Everything just felt like it was a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
It was totally California, just like everything set up,
Right.
like to just look like, okay, TV time. And sure, that's going to look great for them. But the whole thing is like, we want to watch this so that we can say, okay, the Raiders are building up to this moment where everything's going to work.
To click and
we
everything,
want to
yeah.
see like the season actually go well for them. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying
mean-
I do, and I'm not saying others do, but I'm just saying like, that's the expectation.
Right.
You want to see Hard Knocks. So it's like they go from the ground up. That's where we want to see this thing. I mean,
and not to bounce back to previous years, but I mean, last year, I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks, but Jarvis Landry is basically completely going psycho on the receiver room.
Yes.
In the first episode, and everybody thought that was going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield showing up in Hugh Jackson's office, like, hey, he was talking crap about Hugh Jackson, or not talking crap about Hugh Jackson, well, which he ended up talking
he
crap
ends
about
up
Hugh
doing
Jackson.
it anyways.
But no, Hugh Jackson was saying stuff about Baker Mayfield, how
Yeah.
he's not the first guy in the door, he's showing up late to practice, this, that, and the other. And I mean, everybody thought that was going to go. I think it's just more so building up so people have the viewership.
Right.
So Hard Knocks gets the viewership and draws people in and everything like that. But nonetheless, obviously, it worked out for Cleveland. They're in great shape now.
Yeah.
Being able to make that trade for Odell Beckham, being able to make that trade for Olivier Vernon.
Yeah.
Although giving up Kevin Zeitler, their best left tackle or left guard, whatever he is,
guard.
lineman, which I think could prove pretty crucial. I mean,
Yeah, that
then you bring
could
in
be-
a guy like Eric Kush. It's like that's not a good
yeah,
replacement.
that could be something that
So,
bites you in you know what.
But I mean, I think Cleveland's in the right direction. I think they're trying to find teams that are going in the right direction. But one thing I would like to see next year, put the Bears on there, man. That team's got to be
That
fun
would
to
be
watch.
nice, yeah.
Fun to watch in practice. I mean, they just say Mitch Trubisky looks like crap, but that's because Khalil Mack's blowing up the play every day.
Yeah.
They literally told Khalil Mack not to show up to practice because they wanted to get some stuff done.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's yeah, I know, they can't because they don't put on the playoff teams. It's one of their rules, which
That's stupid.
yeah, it is dumb, but
I would like to see the Redskins next year if they don't make the playoffs.
That would be interesting. I would be very interested to see that because I know Jay Gruden's on the hot seat and Dwayne Haskins. If not the Redskins, I'll even throw in the Giants because I'd love to see this whole Daniel Jones thing, which we're gonna get to here eventually.
And last thing about Hard Knocks, I've watched all 3 episodes and I have not seen one highlight or even an appearance from Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. No, yeah,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's what I've heard. He has yet to talk to them. Which, from what I understood about him, I guess at Alabama, he's really shy with the media. Yeah, he doesn't really like to talk to them.
So they got their new Khalil Mack.
Yeah, hopefully, really hopefully. I mean, the kid looked good in college, and he's supposed to be another big highlight for.
Dave Montgomery's better.
I really hope you're right with that one.
I hope so.
But yeah, so this Antonio Brown situation, real quick before we get out of this, how do you think the Oakland Raiders are going to fare from this? How do you think that this is going to be something that ends up maybe just not being anything, or do you think this is going to be something that maybe blows up the whole team?
With the Antonio Brown situation?
Yeah.
I really, like I said, I don't think it's going to be the thing. I think he's going to play. Right now, I just think it's a fantasy aspiration right now.
Yeah.
Like for fantasy football play, or,
right.
People play fantasy football. Just, gambling that circus, I guess. But, I mean, if you take him, he's going to play all 16 games.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play.
I agree. I mean, I think he'll play. But in terms of, like, what the overall, like, for the Raiders and stuff, I think this team – I just everything just feels dismantled.
Really tough. It's probably the toughest division
you've got the
football.
Kansas City's at the top, along with the Los Angeles Chargers,
and they lost Derwin James, and the Denver Broncos are right there. I mean,
and Denver looks really good because Joe Flacco looks like he's back on his prime.
Yeah,
so.
And Emmanuel Sanders is looking like he had no setbacks from that
exactly.
Achilles injury.
Yeah,
I'd put the Bears division with Green Bay and the Vikings and everything. I think people are overlooking the Vikings.
Yeah.
I put those 2 divisions as the top 2.
Really?
I think. And I mean, the Jaguars have a really easy schedule this year.
Yeah.
But I like the AFC South as well.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Yeah, the Raiders thing, I mean, I think John Gruden's, I think he's just going to, at some point, he's going to blow it up. I think him and Mike Mayock are going to have it out because those two, I don't know how good their relationship is, but it doesn't feel tight. I don't think John Gruden, I don't think likes Derek Carr at all, which is weird because he loves strong arm quarterbacks. He so praised Rich Gannon for all his greatness, and yet this kid all of a sudden is kind of like he seems to question everything that Derek Carr does. So
I bet if Derek Carr's not looking good at the beginning of the year, they tank. They take Trevor Lawrence. No, that's 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 2 years from now. So they go and take Tua or Justin Herbert or Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
And I bet they go with.
I like Derek Carr.
I like him too.
I wanted them to put pieces around him, and they did. I mean, they bring in Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
They replace Khalil Mack kind of with Clelin Ferrell.
And TBD is really what it's.
I wrote an article and I said that they should trade for Antonio Brown, and that ended up happening.
Yeah.
I said they should draft Marquise Brown. I thought that would be a good thing. Just because, another slot guy.
Yeah.
Another slot guy who's super fast,
yeah.
nonetheless. And it'd just be another weapon to take away from, to give Antonio Brown more room to work.
Yeah.
I think one thing that would happen if it were to blow up is Derek Carr not being able to get him the ball, but being able to bring in weapons like Josh Jacobs. They got that Darren Waller's having a good camp, I've heard. Luke Wilson. Tyrell Williams from the Chargers is going to play opposite of Antonio Brown. I think he could be a big sleeper in fantasy football just because he's a speedster too, and he can get open. He's a veteran receiver. So playing opposite of Antonio Brown, and then Hunter Renfrow in the slot. That's huge. I mean, he's had a great camp.
He had a really good camp, yeah.
So I think the Raiders could be sneakily good. I mean, I could see them winning 8 games maybe. I don't see them winning any more than 8 games.
I got them pegged right now to only win maybe at 5 the most.
Yeah, I think
that division's just gonna kill them.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go 0 for 6 in their division.
Yeah, they're gonna go 0 for 6 in that division. It is gonna be very hard. I mean, you might be
I can see them being better than Denver though.
Yeah, you might be able to put like 30 on Kansas City, but that's after they put like 60 on you. So.
They bring in Tyrann Mathieu. They lose D Ford and Justin Houston.
Yeah,
but they bring in Frank Clark.
That's true. Yeah,
so
I forgot about that.
I think they got Reggie Ragland too.
Yes, they do.
So
it'll be interesting.
I think KC is definitely the team.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to always win that division for a few years to come.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For quite a while, I think we can say. So you guys can let us know what you think about the Antonio Brown situation down below. So away from that, we kind of got a little bit of a fan question, and I'll just read it real fast. The question basically was, obviously we've talked a lot about Baker, and we're going to be talking about him soon here again as well. But it's basically what about the other quarterbacks in his draft class, right? Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson. They were all in the draft. I mean, that almost became a record-setting draft class because there were pegged to be almost 6 quarterbacks maybe taken in the first round, depending on what teams needed. But yeah, so basically they're asking, what do we think about these other quarterbacks that were taken with him, and how do they really compare to the guy? Because obviously Baker had one of the best seasons. He had the best season of them all. I mean, well, he had the best by statistics. He had the best season of them all. I guess we can say that. So. And I know Tom's probably bouncing up and down there because he's a Cleveland Brown man. I mean, real quick for those that don't know, Baker's stats, he was 6-7 in his record overall. He threw for 3,700 yards, just over 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, which is a rookie record, 14 interceptions, completed 63% of his passes. So he had a really good year, and he only played 14 games, and he started only 13 of them. So. Yeah. It's a really good year, but what about these other quarterbacks? So you've got the first guy, which came after him, which was Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about Sam Darnold because obviously he doesn't get a lot of reputation because you don't hear him talking in the media as much as Baker.
Right.
He plays in New York with the Jets, which gets taken back by the Yankees and the Giants and all that stuff. But for what Darnold did, he had a really good year. 2,800 yards, 17 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. 4-9 record is, yes, it's a losing record.
Who do you have to throw the ball to?
That's the thing, though, is with what he did with who he had.
One of the things I really liked about what the Jets did this year, obviously they brought in Le'Veon Bell, and then you get a talent like that, get a running game like that, it's going to be huge. But then they were able to bring in Jamison Crowder. He is a sneaky good slot receiver.
He is.
He's going to be able to stretch the field. Sam Darnold's going to be able to throw it deep. Robbie Anderson's going to be open. Quincy Nunez hurt again, but I don't really buy his hype at all. I mean, he thinks he's so good.
I think he's underrated. I just feel like he's got that little bit of extra something where, like, he always finds a way to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
I mean, he has those moments where obviously he still slips up with the routes and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's those moments where you see he runs a great route.
Right.
And Sam Darnold's able to, like he had, 4 sideline catches last year.
Yeah.
Which were, on the point. And it just says to me, okay, if he can commit himself to being that great route runner that we see every now and then, he can be really, really good. I'm not saying stud, but I'm saying he could be really good.
No,
and
but
Robbie Anderson's amazing to me.
I think being able to have that running game with Le'Veon Bell and being able to just dump the ball off to Le'Veon Bell is going to be huge. And then, like I said, stretching the field with Jamison Crowder down the middle, they're going to be pretty good offensively. It's going to be a matter of defensively. On that side, obviously Jamal Adams is huge for them, LSU guy.
Yes, he is.
And then, they draft Quinnen Williams. I love that pick. That guy's an instant media, god. That guy, he is amazing. That
kid, what's great about that kid is that he's one of those guys that, much like Baker, he's good for the media, but then he's also the guy that can back it up. He's not an Ndamukong Suh talker, but he's one of those guys that, he loves the game of football. You can see it in his face. He loves this game. And then he goes out and he, manhandles everybody.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
And then, Leonard Williams and
he's another beast.
They're gonna be good. Yeah. They're gonna be good. They brought in C.J. Mosley. They brought in from the Ravens. So
now with Avery Williamson out,
yep.
he's gonna really dominate that defense. I can see it right now.
It would have been huge if Anthony Barr stayed, but if Anthony Barr stayed, they probably wouldn't have been able to have enough cap space to bring Le'Veon Bell in.
That would have been a lot of money that you would have been giving up.
So
Sam.
I like what they did.
Yeah, I will say this, and I know people will freak out. But I've said it before. I think Baker Mayfield, by the end of these guys' careers, is going to be the better quarterback when you look at the numbers and stuff like that.
But look at the weapons he has around him.
That's the thing.
They are building a dynasty
that's the thing, though, is that
around Baker.
In the first 5, let's say these guys play 12 years, okay? The first 6 years, Baker's going to have really good numbers. Because look at the weapons he's got around him. Like you said, he came into the league. He's got Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, great offensive line, a defense that's really stacked. Sam Darnold's coming into the league with almost nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying the first 5 years or 6 years, Baker's going to be really good.
Right.
The back 6 years, I think, is where we're going to say Sam Darnold's dominating. Because by those back 6 years, I got to believe that Tom Brady is either not playing or not playing at an elite level.
Right.
Bill Belichick is no longer the head coach. Josh McDaniels is, and Josh is going to tear that team up, I believe, because he just has to has to do everything the opposite.
That was my speculation because when he turned down, or not turned down, he had the proverbial,
Colts
coaching job with the Colts, and then he backed out, and I'm like, well,
he's
is
the
this
head
dude
coach in
scared?
waiting.
He doesn't think he's like good.
No,
like he doesn't think he knows what he's doing
because he knows he has the head
that was
coaching job
that was a
locked.
huge red flag for me. I don't think he's gonna be able to keep it up. And then obviously Tom Brady is just Tom Brady, so replacing that. And I don't know.
That's my
and
thing,
when
though.
Bill Belichick retires, if he ever does, that defense is gonna be as good.
Yeah,
You know,
because Josh McDaniels, he's an offensive-minded coach,
Right.
And as I know, a lot of people are trusting in Jarrett Stidham, but Josh McDaniels is just. He's working with a veteran quarterback. He's not working with a rookie. And when he did work with a rookie, it was Tim Tebow, and he didn't really throw the ball all that well. So let's just be honest with that. But it's one of those things where I see Sam Darnold and I say, back 6 years of the season is where his career is going to light it up. Maybe an AFC championship, maybe even get the Jets to a Super Bowl, depending on who's there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's keep in the AFC, and let's keep it in the AFC East.
Yeah.
Where now former draft pick, Josh Rosen gets traded to Miami. You got Josh Allen, who was drafted by the Bills.
Yeah.
And then you got Sam Darnold.
Right.
So if you had to bet for the next, after, Tom Brady retires, who takes over that? Who takes over that?
To me, it's Sam Darnold. He's the
I think
most
just because
ready.
he has the most weapons around him.
Yeah.
I mean, Le'Veon Bell's not going to last forever. But no, that's not going to happen. I don't think the Patriots are anything without Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
I don't
Whenever
even think
that
they're committed
happens,
to that kid.
they're going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
They're absolute dumpster fire. I mean, look what happened to the Yankees when they lost, all their guys.
Yeah.
I can't even, Joe Torre,
Yeah.
When
they
that
had to go
dynasty
through
went down.
through the rebuilding period.
Yeah, exactly. They go to crap. But I mean, Tom Brady's been around forever. So get rid of Tom Brady, get rid of Bill Belichick, and they're nothing. I mean, it's going to be between, in my eyes, I don't like Josh Rosen. I don't like his attitude. I don't think he has the will to work. If you can't even beat out Ryan Fitzpatrick, it's like, come on, dude. Are you even, you should just be a backup.
Right.
I mean, show that you can do something. I mean, look how hard Nick Foles worked to get where he's at.
Yeah. Well, before we jump to Josh Rosen, I wanted to actually get through to obviously Josh Allen, the other Josh that went before Rosen.
Yeah.
Which Josh Rosen, for those that don't know, so list off his stats. So he threw for just over 2,000 yards. He had a 5-6 record, so not too bad. Still losing record, but not too bad. 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, ran for 631 yards, and scored 8 touchdowns, which is pretty good for a 6'5", 220-pound quarterback. And I mean, I'm one who like I mean, you were saying with Josh Rosen, I like Josh Rosen. I think he could be good, but the problem with him is not, I don't know about his attitude, but I feel like nobody is going to give this kid a chance now because it's like, well, you had a chance with the Cardinals, but then obviously the Cardinals let you go. So then you can't win the starting job in Miami. So what's wrong with you? And I think he'll eventually get the starting job in Miami because I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to do very well there. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, he's going to be with a team that's probably depleted. Who knows if Kenny Stills is going to play? Who knows if Devontae Parker can even still make his catches or not? And I feel like he's going to have a losing record. They're going to dump him in Miami,
Albert
get
Wilson,
Tagovailoa or something, and then
Jakeem Grant.
Yeah, and then he's going to find himself having to go around the league left and right trying to find a team. So I think he's a player that can get if he gets a chance with a team that has weapons around him, he can succeed. But that's the thing. I don't know if he'll get that chance.
I wanted the Packers to trade for Josh Rosen. I just think
that would have been a smart thing, or the Chargers or somebody.
No, because that California connection, the Cal connection with him and Aaron Rodgers. And if you go back to draft night, Aaron Rodgers, tweeted at him said, "I love this kid," blah blah blah, and he always has good things about him. Why wouldn't you trade him to come mentor him? I mean, after Aaron Rodgers, what do you got? Brett Hundley, Deshaun Kaiser. No, that's not happening. Like, that's not happening. Those guys are jokes. I mean, you're gonna either be looking at drafting a quarterback, or I would have liked them to trade for Josh Rosen. I don't see why that was a bad choice.
Well, the reason I say, like, first off, for Josh Allen, for those that are wondering what his career is going to be like, I think he's going to be one of those guys who
grit and grind, Phillip Rivers type.
4 or 5 years he's going to be with the Bills. They're going to pay him too much money, and at some point he's going to get hurt because he makes the one wrong run.
I think he's going to be a Phillip Rivers type.
I don't even think he's going to be that. I think he's
not
going to be
that good, but
no,
like that.
I think he's going to be that guy that just he makes a one wrong run, like in his 3rd or 4th year. He gets hurt after they've paid him a lot of money, and then he's going to be just an average quarterback. Because right now, it's just, I like his throwing motion, but you have no real deep downfield threat for him.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like, I mean, I think the Bills can get better, but so many pieces now for the Bills that have been there for so long are gone. You've lost your leader in Kyle Williams up front. Hopefully Ed Oliver can fill that gap.
Yeah.
So defensively, you might be getting better, but offensively, if you don't start getting him deep downfield wide receivers, something like a Marquise Brown or Antonio Brown or anything like that, he's going to struggle because he just every time he tries to make the short throw, he's trying to beam that ball in there, and it's going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's ricocheting off the receiver's hands or their chest plates. And
they don't really have any big threats. I mean, they really don't. I mean, LaShawn McCoy's only getting older. And then you got Devin Singletary, who's going to be explosive. I think he's going to take over LaShawn McCoy's spot this year. But like you said, Cole Beasley, bringing a guy like Cole Beasley.
He's not a downfield threat. He's a great slot option over the middle.
Zay Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm forgetting some people, but they don't have any names.
That's the thing.
They don't have names.
You can't find a name because the Bills have nobody.
They have Charles Clay still? It's a tight
possibly,
end.
I don't even remember.
Know. Like, they're not relevant. Like, get this guy some weapons like you did Sam Darnold and see what happens. I think he could be pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then you've got, like we said, we were just talking about Josh Rosen, obviously. So for Josh Rosen, 3-10 record, 2,200, over 2,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, completed 55% of his passes. Obviously, things went a little sideways in Arizona. They don't have a lot to really work with outside of an aging Larry Fitzgerald. Unfortunately, we have to say aging because his age is starting to show now that he sits in the slot. I mean, who knows? Maybe Kyler Murray can somehow make his emergence be known. That's going to be tough. And I don't want to get on Kyler Murray. We'll talk more on him, obviously, as
when
the season
starts.
When season starts, we'll actually get to see what he can do. But with Josh Rosen, again, I just feel like he's the guy that's going to bounce around the league, not really get a chance. Kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick in a sense. You know he can play.
Josh McCown.
You know he can play. You know he has the mechanics to do it. And he's probably a very smart guy. But because for some reason the Cardinals said, we're going to go with Murray over you, like because Kingsbury doesn't feel comfortable with you or whatever, all of a sudden all the teams are going to say, so there's something wrong with him. And you just
I think it's his attitude.
His attitude, yeah.
He has an attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out on draft night and said, I don't remember what he said, but he basically
he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
all those he's going to make all 9 teams.
Pay.
Yeah, all 9 teams they didn't take me are going to pay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, dude, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
So I lost instant respect for him right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't really blame him for this, but the Cardinals put him out there against the freaking Bears. It's like, really? Is that really where you wanted him to make his debut? It traumatized the kid.
I still think that, I know you said Green Bay. The other place that I felt he was good, Los Angeles Chargers. It's L.A. It's where he played ball at. It's where you played college ball at. Phillip Rivers is your starting quarterback. You get to learn from one of the best in the game. What's wrong with that?
Yeah,
why not take the opportunity to get your future quarterback possibly?
I know. I feel like that's a lot what they need to do with a lot of these guys. Like a lot of guys that are head cases or have attitude problems or just homesick per se. Like even what they did with Kareem Hunt. I mean, he came into Cleveland back in Ohio. He went to Toledo and everything. So maybe he can stay out of trouble there. And for the most part, it's been going well.
Yeah, he's been quite well. I mean, he's suspended for 8 games, so he's not going to do hopefully too much.
Exactly. But to my point, it's just, like I said with the Aaron Rodgers and Josh Rosen connection, both bring from Cal.
Yep.
And then, what you said with the LA connection, because he's, from Cal, going and playing behind Phillip Rivers.
He's perfect for that older quarterback that you say, we need to get the future.
Right, exactly.
We need to prepare for the future.
And
both teams have great players there to support him.
My other spot was the Patriots. So just basically any aging quarterback. It's just, I don't know. I thought that wouldn't have been a stupid move.
No, absolutely not. Well, hopefully the best for him. And the final quarterback on this list is obviously the only one who made the playoffs, and I think the one that shocked all of us the most, Lamar Jackson. So Lamar's numbers for throwing aren't really great. He only threw for 1,201 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Led the team in rushing attempts, though, with 147 attempts, 695 yards. He was second on the team in rushing. Second on the team in rushing touchdowns with 5. Now, I like Lamar Jackson, but I don't think he's going to last very long. I hate saying that, but it's just because if he's going to continue to use this running thing as his one of his main weapons of his game, where he's not dropping back first and then running when everything's broken down.
Right.
Like I think a quarterback, that's my interpretation of how a quarterback should do it.
Yeah. I think
it's gonna get bad.
I think that's why they bring in Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
And then you got Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, guys like that, and then Marquise Brown. I think it could be pretty explosive. I'm kind of actually targeting Marquise Brown like off the waiver wire because he's not getting drafted. Just because if he dumps him off and he gets some space, but John Harbaugh already came out and said that he's got a long ways to go.
Oh yeah.
And then they got that Miles Boykin.
Yes.
They got him, so he's looking like he's having pretty good camp. So that could be a potential deep threat. Go up and get it type guy.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're kind of putting more weapons around him. Whereas last year he didn't have anything, so that's part of the reason he was on the run all the time.
Right.
But having Mark Ingram and Justice Hill and guys like that, the supporting cast, I think that's gonna do well for him.
Yeah. No, it's shocking too because you look at Joe Flacco. Those numbers that he had at the start of it, completed more passes at 61%, had 2,400 passing yards, threw 12 touchdowns with 6 interceptions. All the numbers look better than him by far, but he's 4-5, and then they go to Lamar Jackson. All of a sudden, they're 6-1, and a lot of people are like, "Well, how did that happen? Is he really that good?" And look, I think he's talented, but I think a lot of it has to do with obviously the defense. Really stepped up big time for that team a lot. Alex Collins kind of started to emerge as a huge running back, and then you also
Gus
had
Edwards.
Gus Edwards too. He came out of the gate swinging really. With his
I
running
picked him
style.
up.
So
He was
there
nice.
you go.
He was nice.
Yeah, but they've got a nice 3-headed monster to be able to run the ball, but at the same time, if this guy doesn't start to learn how to be able to be more of a passing quarterback, he's going to find himself in.
And if he does, he could be the next Mike Vick. That'd be crazy.
And that's the crazy thing too is that Mike Vick went on. He went on First Take, The Herd. He went on Undisputed and all that.
Right.
And the one thing he kept reiterating is learn how to throw the ball and learn how to slide. There's one thing that he doesn't do, and obviously Aaron Rodgers said it to him too. For those that don't know, they met up with each other. They had a little nice communication, and Aaron Rodgers said, "Slide a little bit more," because that's one thing that I like a quarterback that can go head first, but that's one of the things I've had with Trubisky. Trubisky does like to go head first, which is that's Chicago, go head first, tough. But I'm also please don't get hurt. You're a quarterback. I'm asking you, don't get hurt. But
we got bailed out by our defense at the Thanksgiving game. Just Chase Daniel looked like he had some promise, and then he looked awful.
Yeah.
In the second half of that game, so that was scary.
Yeah, but obviously, a lot of it, for the Ravens, going to come down to how did the defense look. They lost a lot, but I think Lamar Jackson, I think he'll be decent. I think the Ravens will have a pretty good enough season.
Yeah.
But
they lost a lot, but they gained a ball hawk and Earl Thomas. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I think the way these guys, if I could put them, because I want to ask you real quick how you're going to put these guys in order from how they grade out right now. From how I have it, for myself personally, I'll say I've got Baker on top with Sam Darnold just creeping underneath him as that number 2 quarterback. Then I would probably say Lamar Jackson, then Josh Allen, then Josh Rosen. That's how I'm ranking these 5. What about you? How would you say?
Yeah, I'm going Baker at the top. And then I think Sam Darnold and Josh Allen is a toss-up. I think Josh Allen was in Sam Darnold's spot.
Yeah.
I think they could have been a little bit better last year, actually, just because I feel like, Sam Darnold had a little bit more weapons to work with. And now, like I said, Sam Darnold, so many Joshes.
Yeah, I know, too many Joshes.
Yeah, no, Sam Darnold getting all those weapons and stuff. That's what they need to do with Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I think they'll be on the right path. So I'm going Baker. Talent-wise, I think Josh Allen's better. So I'm going to go Josh Allen.
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's
your
Baker,
list,
man. Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Okay.
No, not Josh. Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Lamar.
All right.
And Josh Rosen. I think Josh Rosen is just a complete waste.
All right. Well, there you go.
Waste of talent. I think his mind is going to take him nowhere.
Jeez. All right. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Tyler, it's great.
Pause.
What's
Pause.
up?
Lamar Jackson learns how to throw.
Then you
He's
bump
2.
him up? Okay.
He's
really
2.
2?
He might be 2.
Okay, interesting. Well, we'll see how that happens as these guys go into their sophomore year. Obviously, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys all play out, especially with a lot of them having some pretty big upgrades. So certainly for one man that we obviously didn't talk about, but hey, we'll see how it all fares out. He's been doing a lot of talking, and we're going to be talking about that here more when we get back. Tyler, thank you so much, man, for joining us. Where can they find you as we bump out of here with you?
You can find me at Tyler Dillon on Twitter, at TYLERRDYLANN on Twitter. And then hopefully be getting back into the radio studio with my co-host, Jake Bradley. That's on 12 to 2 on Saturdays. We haven't been in. I just have been on a really long hiatus. I'm glad to be back here for this, and hopefully that translates into more and more shows because I like to be here. I love talking sports.
Well, it's great to have you back, man. It's
so, yeah, I'm glad to be back. You know, a lot of stuff going on. The NFL season's coming up. The whole Zeke situation, Antonio Brown, this, that, and the other. Is Andrew Luck going to play this year?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff to get into, a lot of stuff to look forward to. So, yeah, just keep it tuned.
Yeah, we'll it's great to have you back, man. Like I said, when we come back, though, we're going to be talking here with some Baker talk. Obviously, he had some words to say, as he always does, of course. And also on that, too, we're going to get to one of Tom's favorite things, of course, which is hockey, talking about what this decade has brought us in terms of great champions and all that good stuff. We're here on the X-Plum Sports Live Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Chicagoland area has a large number of lonely dogs currently filling shelter pens, just waiting to find a family. Nothing adds warmth to a home like a wagging tail and a warm pair of brown eyes. If you are considering adding a dog to your household, visit the Anderson Animal Shelter, where adoption counselors can assist you in selecting your new best friend. Make your house a home. Adopt a shelter dog. To see a current list of adoptees, visit their website at www.andersonanimalshelter.org or meet them in person at 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin. Don't have room in the home for a new furry family member? Donations of toys, collars, and soft or hard non-perishable dog food are always accepted and are greatly appreciated. All animals are spayed or neutered and are waiting with tails wagging to find a loving home. Visit 1000 South LaFox Street in South Elgin or www.andersonanimalshelter.org for more details.
Welcome back, everybody, here to the X-Plum Sports Live Show. I hope you all are still enjoying this program. My name is still Andrew Valentin, and yes, we are still here. But with me, of course, is the infamous, the almighty, he's not wearing a sun. For some reason, I thought you were wearing a sun on your shirt. No, he is the safety captain, Mr. Tom McKinney.
This is the core wheel.
I don't want to get into it. No, don't.
The Home Depot.
The Home Depot, yes. Tom McKinney, ladies and gentlemen, he's back once again. Tom, how you doing, man?
I'm tired.
You tired?
Dude, I'm exhausted.
I am tired as well. Well, man, you ready to get into this? We got some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get to this trash ESPN freaking rankings.
Well, we'll get to that eventually, but we'll talk here about this first part, and then we'll get to your your rant section, which we'll try not to go on a rant, but try.
I'm gonna do what I want, man.
Yeah, God. All right. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. For the second half, we're gonna start this one off with some Baker Mayfield talk. Obviously, we didn't talk about the man in the first half, but if you guys haven't heard, Baker Mayfield had some choice words to say, basically for the whole Daniel Jones getting picked by the New York Giants. For what he has to say, he said he couldn't believe that the Giants would take Daniel Jones. It blew his mind that they would take him. He had a quote also that said, if I can quote it from his GQ interview, he said, "Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget you've got to win." And that's in reference to Daniel Jones' record in college, which was 17-19 at Duke University. So Tom,
Trash university.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to basketball, certainly. But Tom, obviously, from these comments, I mean, what are your first thoughts for what Baker's saying about this thing?
He's saying what I've been saying. There are so many other better options to draft.
Yeah.
This is just going to turn into another. They're going to be the Arizona Cardinals of last year.
Really?
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones is going to start like 3 games, get hurt, and then they're gonna somehow get the first overall pick, and they're gonna get Tua.
I mean, he's been pretty good in the preseason, you know.
Okay,
I
it's
mean,
preseason.
Well, I know, yeah, I know, and I knew that you were going to say
We're
that. And I know
talking-
everybody's going to say that.
We're talking
preseason.
preseason.
I know. Yes, we are talking preseason for sure. But even with what he's done in preseason, I mean, there's a lot of people that thought we would see a lot less than what he's shown us, and he certainly seems like. It certainly seems like the mechanics look good. It looks like everything's kind of maybe clicking. I still don't know if he's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen, but it certainly there's a good chance that he might have an opportunity to step in there and maybe have some success. Obviously, your starting wide receivers aren't in there, and that takes a lot away from it. But I think the hopefulness is
I have his GQ thing up here.
You
I
have
like
it?
this.
Yeah.
I like this part right here. Per NCAA rules, he had to sit out the upcoming season. This is when he transferred from Texas Tech to
Right.
Oklahoma. He managed to excel at that too. He said, "I loved that year." Mayfield says he played intramural softball, 2-time intramural champions. One of my biggest accomplishments, he says. He also tried playing intramural football, but was told after one game that wouldn't be allowed. He points out his team won the game. By the time he was eligible to compete for the 2015-16 season, he had won the starting job. At the end of the year, he finished 4th in the Heisman voting. The next season, his junior year, he finished 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, he's. There was a lot of information within that GQ article, but obviously a lot of people are really poking out the whole thing with what Baker said about Daniel Jones because
and his deciding to plant the flag in the Ohio State Stadium,
Yes, that's
which I'm
correct.
fine with. First off, it didn't do anything to the grass because it's turf.
Yes.
So calm down.
Well,
But it is ironic that a team in Ohio drafted him.
Yes, that is very true, actually. Well, the reason I bring this whole thing up is because obviously there's been a lot of people registering their opinions about what they think about him speaking like this about a fellow quarterback, obviously a fellow young quarterback who's only 1 year. He's only 1 year into the NFL. Obviously, it was a good year. It wasn't terrible or anything. But he says you've got to be a winner. And it's referencing Daniel Jones' college career, which I understand. Baker was a winner in college.
We did the same thing with Trubisky here.
Yeah, Trubisky, he was a winner I'm forgetting UNC. My God, I blanked. And then with the Bears, with him his first year, he was a loser. Baker, I don't know if you recognize this man. I just read the record off in the last section. You were 6-7.
Okay.
You're not a winner, really.
6-7 with a Cleveland Brown team that went through a coaching
stacked,
change.
mind you. That was
Yes.
stacked, and yes, went through a coaching change.
So that doesn't help.
Yeah.
So you can't fully go out and say all right, well, he was 6-7. He didn't start the beginning of the season.
Right.
They gave that to EJ Manuel.
No, Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor. Got it.
Yes.
I forgot who
It's
started
been a
the
while,
season.
Yes, I know.
So you had Tyrod Taylor. He gets hurt. Baker comes in, third quarter of that game and wins. And then you go and he starts the next 13 games.
Right.
And somewhere in that point, you have a coaching change.
Right.
Now you got to learn a whole new system.
Well, yes and no.
Mid-season,
yes,
you can't fault them for that.
It was yes and no because they only added a few more things. They kind of kept the bulk of what was there in the offense, but they primarily said, we're going to put him at quarterback. And because of that, you could see he's able to get the ball to Jarvis Landry. He's able to do more things with David Njoku. He's able to hit him over the middle. I think Tyrod Taylor's a decent quarterback, but clearly Baker's a lot better because he's been doing this. I mean, they've both been doing this all their lives, but Baker just has a little bit more of that it factor, and he has a bit of a stronger arm. He's got more of that push that makes him more of a quarterback. But
Man, did you see this T.Y. Hilton catch, by the way?
yeah, I had seen that. Yeah.
How did he catch that?
Because he's amazing.
But
But it's one of those things where I just look at it and I say, where does he get? He doesn't have any leg to stand on to say you've got to win. Like Daniel Jones, we don't know. Who knows what he could do with the Giants, Yeah. I mean, it could be one of those things where, like with Baker, starting quarterback Eli Manning isn't playing too well. They pull him. Daniel Jones goes in. Who knows? Maybe the Giants reel off 6 wins. Maybe they even get to the playoffs. Who knows? You know, the possibilities are endless. I mean, this kid has looked really good in the preseason. Obviously, we don't know what he's going to look like in game time. It's a completely different type of thing when the full starters are on the field. But for him to go out there and say winning matters, well, if that's all that matters, then what are you? Because you're 6-7. Remember that. You don't have a winning record. We're projecting that you're going to have a winning record this year. A lot of people are putting a lot of expectations on him to win this year. But it's just one of those things where, like, I don't understand where he feels like he gets off with this. Now, Daniel Jones responded in this too, and he had something to say with it. It was more of just like, you know, I'm just gonna play my game. I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm just playing the game. I'm just here to do my best. You know, so and Baker has also kind of reeled back on this and said, look, I also said to, you know, I didn't expect to be the number 1 overall pick, which, you know, some people said Sam Darnold was better than Baker Mayfield. So it's, you know,
I have no problem with his comments. I have no problems with his comments. I think Baker going out and saying that maybe we'll let a fire under Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones isn't starting the season.
No, but maybe, who knows? Maybe this will be the thing that maybe says to him, you know what? I can be the starter. Who knows? Maybe it does make him go out there and prove, and maybe he has one of the best rookie seasons we've ever had.
That's fine. Go out
great.
and do it. Prove him wrong.
Yeah.
He did say he apologized. I don't think he needed to. I
think it's good that
I have
no
problem with them going out there and bashing other players. Like, do what you want to do. Speak your mind. What do you say? Like, I go out there.
You gotta remember, if people see that and get turned off on the wrong way, like.
But if I go out there and bash you the same way he did, and being like, Andrew doesn't know how to run a show, Andrew doesn't know how to do this, yada yada yada.
I feel like some truth is coming out here. Is it?
No.
Okay.
But like, I mean, sometimes. No.
So now we're gonna get it.
No, I'm kidding. But like, if I did that and I posted it on social media, went crazy, and like we actually had a little bit more of a following. Not saying we don't. We love our fans, but
wanna dig it even farther.
No, but like, you know what I'm saying. Like, if we had a bigger group of fans, like if we had fans like almost ESPN style, and they knew where we started from. And I said, Andrew doesn't know how to run a show. He doesn't know how to run a company like this. He doesn't know how to run a production company, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Like, he should just give me everything. And I think I'm way better than him. Like, people might take that the wrong way because that's...
I might take that the wrong way right now.
Okay, but
I know what you mean.
But
I know what you mean.
In this day and age, everybody's a candy ass. Sorry, it's the truth.
Yeah, everybody's got a little bit of a, like, you know, we didn't talk about it, but obviously, you know, I don't want to get off subject, but like Ezekiel Elliott's all real upset about the fact that Jerry Jones made the joke, you know, is Zeke who?
Yeah, I think that's wrong of Jerry Jones. I agree with Zeke being allowed to be upset in that. But for people to be upset for Baker saying that he's not impressed by him, that's nothing wrong. I agree with Zeke being upset because that is your owner talking bad about you. And that's showing him that he has no respect for you.
Right.
That is a little
that's
different.
Your boss.
Yeah, that's your boss. That's like your bosses, which I know you go through.
Yes.
Saying that you're a terrible worker, or my boss is saying I'm a terrible worker.
Right.
Like, we have to put up with that.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He can say, all right, well, fine. Good luck trying to get a running back.
Yeah.
That's as explosive as I am.
Yeah.
And is actually entertaining and people will want to go watch.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're still at Cowboys, but if I'm going to a Cowboys game, I want to see Zeke.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. If you're paying money to go to, if you're in Dallas and you're like, oh, well,
he certainly is the brightest star right now of all.
But think about it. You're in Dallas over a weekend and you're like, oh, well, I'm not leaving till Tuesday. The Cowboys are in town.
Yeah.
I can get a ticket for $100. But is Zeke playing? No, I don't really want to go. I mean, I still might because it's $100, but like.
I mean, I like, you know.
But you know what I mean?
I got love for Dak and Amari and all those guys.
So
but
do
like,
I.
But yes, I understand what you're saying. When the big star is not there, it is something.
It's just like the NBA when they sit their star players, like when LeBron sits because he needs a day off. Like, who cares? If you're playing Memphis and you only play Memphis once a season, you play that game. Because when I have a kid and I'm taking him to living in Memphis for some weird reason, which I will never live in Memphis. I've driven through Memphis and there's nothing there. Same thing with Arkansas.
Stop dissing all the states.
I got what, 49 more?
Yeah, you got a few less than that. I think we've hit about 20 of them at this point.
So let's see, St. Louis, terrible. Arkansas, Memphis.
Stop.
Look, but like, think about it. Like, if you're gonna rest, or if these players, same thing's going on in the NHL right now.
Yeah.
And I know we're gonna get in it, but Mitch Marner,
Right. Yeah.
he's talking to Zurich.
Yeah,
a
this-
team in Zurich, like. And if that's the case, that means the Toronto Maple Leafs are literally lowballing that man. And I agree
Right.
with what you're saying. I think the Blackhawks, if they could get rid of some of these big contracts, they should. But if they can,
I would like it.
If they can spread the money out enough and pay him back end heavy,
That's sad.
hold on. But if the Blackhawks could do it and give him like 8 years, and the back end of the
Uh,
contract is really heavy,
Yeah.
I would be down for that. Because
Eh.
if we won 3 more Stanley Cups with him,
Yeah.
I have no problem with that back end of that contract in
Oh, yeah.
4 years being terrible and
I mean, it'd
he's
have
not being the player that we got him at when we got him now.
yeah.
But
It'd have to be like a 12-year contract, but yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I
I'm
understand
fine with him
what
going to
you're saying.
Zurich. I'm fine with Zeke sitting out. I'm fine with Baker's comments to Daniel Jones. Like, it brings drama. It brings the excitement.
That's the
because
yeah.
Cleveland's gonna play New York, and it's not just gonna be Odell returning to New York or
Right.
the first time the Giants play
adds-
Odell.
it adds
It's gonna now
more.
add a little bit more. Oh well, Baker said this about my
Especially
quarterback.
if Daniel Jones is playing too.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. My only concern with this is obviously I'm just hoping Baker's not letting this all like
What, go to his
he's-
head?
Yeah, like I think he's definitely a lot more humble than Johnny Manziel. Don't get me wrong. He is not Johnny Manziel, whatever his last name is. But he definitely seems like he's letting a lot more, he's talking a lot more, but he's a confident quarterback. He certainly is a very confident quarterback. I just hope that confidence and cockiness is not going to go to the level of where everything is going to start blowing up, because my fear is that with all this talking, if they get on a losing streak, all of a sudden it's going to be like Odell's going to be like, why aren't you passing me the ball? And Jarvis is like, because I'm always open, and then they're fighting, and then Baker's fighting with Odell, and then everybody's fighting with each other. That's what I'm afraid of. Like this is going to be the start of. It's not obviously him arguing with other players, but this is where it could start, where they're like, why is he talking so much in the media?
But no one did this in Oklahoma. Now, granted, he was winning, but it's still
Right.
college. Like, they could have started losing, and would people say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they might have.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just hope that if they can stay on the right stream and he can just keep on the right path, I think this is fine. But I just hope this isn't something that starts blowing up even farther. All right, so away from all that, we obviously somehow found a way to get ourselves into NHL.
Hey, you.
I love, by the way, how you fit in the Mitch Marner and the Blackhawks in there, by the way. You're very sneaky, you know that? So much happened in that one moment. Like, there was so much. But yes, the NHL, I found this article on ESPN. They did a whole all decades awards for the NHL, which I thought was really cool and interesting. And I thought, well, Tom's here. Why not go through this and kind of see what we like and what we disagree with? I mean, we won't get too depth because obviously we've only got a few minutes here left. But I certainly want to get through all of this, and I want to pour through some of these big ones, certainly, because I know he's got a lot to say. I'm sure he disagrees with a lot of it. But you ready to hit this, man?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so we'll start off from the top. And the Hart Award, the winner of this one is... I know you're gonna hate me for this, and I know you already hate it. It's Sidney Crosby, with the runner-ups being
How?
Alexander Ovechkin and Patrick Kane. Again, they are the runner-ups.
How? Just because he's won 3 Stanley Cups? Kane's won 3. Taves has won 3. And Taves and Kane won their 3 before that piece of crap did in Pittsburgh.
922 points, man, in the 10 years. That's
How many Ovi got?
901.
Yeah.
He's not far off.
I don't care. I'd rather have Ovi. That man's way more exciting, and he ain't a little baby.
But-
none of the other 2 aren't babies. Sidney Crybaby will go out of his way and do everything illegal and get away with it. But if Kane were to rip someone's thumb off like Crybaby did that one time,
Yeah.
it would be suspension. People would be calling for Kane's head. But Crybaby Crosby does it, and it's okay.
So you're saying Ovechkin would be more of your pick?
Yeah, Ovechkin. It would go Ovechkin, Kane, and then anybody but Crosby.
Is this just because you don't like Crosby?
I'll throw Geno Malkin in there.
Okay.
My picks. Yeah, those are my picks. Ovechkin, Kane, and Malkin.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, look.
If you're really talking about MVPs,
Yeah.
because that's what the Hart Trophy is. If you're really talking about MVPs, then it should be Ovechkin, because that man's literally been the heart and soul of that team no matter what.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane, because if you look at the last 3 years, he's literally been the heart and soul of that team and the MVP. And Evgeny Malkin, because if it wasn't for him, I guarantee Pittsburgh wouldn't have a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I know you're gonna hate me for this, but unfortunately, I have to go with ESPN on this. It's just because.
And let me ask you another thing.
It's just because the importance of his team. He's so important to Pittsburgh because without him, what are the Pittsburgh Penguins really?
Without Malkin, what are the Pittsburgh Penguins?
They're
Really, I think they're worse without Malkin than they would be without
I think
Crosby.
I think they would be able to hold up a little bit better. Not better, I should say, but they would definitely take a step back. But I feel like they would still be able to hang around. Without Crosby, I feel like you're taking away the big key piece, and that's the thing. Like when he retires, they're gonna have to obviously do a whole rebuild.
No, I think without Malkin, that team would be way worse.
Yeah.
I think they would be fine with just Crosby, or I don't think they would be. I think they would struggle with just Crosby.
Yeah.
And also, who gives ESPN the right to talk hockey? When do they ever talk hockey?
That's very, very true, actually.
Like, we talk hockey more on here, and I still don't have a job in this media business.
All right, we'll move on from there. So now we go to the Vezina Trophy. So the Vezina, the winner of the Vezina for the All-Decade is Henrik Lundqvist.
I agree. There's just no other option. I'm sorry.
The runner-ups-
And then it goes Carey Price.
The runner-ups are Sergei Bobrovsky, Carey Price, and then Pekkarini.
I don't have a problem with that. That's the only one I agree with.
I agree.
Like, you literally could have had either Carey Price or Lundqvist number one.
I didn't realize Lundqvist has played 650 games or
it's
over 650 games.
I've seen him like 3 or 4 times, too. It's crazy.
I can't believe he's
and he's never won a Stanley Cup.
which is a shame.
Him and Carey Price will most likely never win a Stanley Cup if they stay with the teams.
But they should. Well, I don't know Carey Price just yet, but certainly Lundqvist. See in the Hall of Fame real soon. Next up, we've got the Norris Trophy.
I haven't seen all of these. I just saw the Hart and I saw the teams.
Oh, okay. So the Norris Trophy, the winner of that one is Erik Karlsson with runner-ups Duncan Keith and Drew Doughty. Now, before you say anything, ESPN has clarified that they are tying. Apparently, they're putting a tie between Keith and Karlsson.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah.
Like, you could put Keith over Carlson. You could put just because of
It
the
seems
Cubs.
like it seems like they are because I'll say this because they're like he has more 53.63 Corsi for percentage.
Yeah, that's their Corsi ratings
Yeah.
is what the
And then he's played more minutes too. He's played 21,000
And he
minutes.
also has the Stanley Cups. Carlson doesn't have any. I mean, I'm okay with Carlson. I would put Brent Burns up there as well. I think Brent Burns.
Oh
is,
yeah,
or
he's getting up there at least.
Victor Hedman.
Yes.
There's Drew Doughty. I would throw him. Is he was one of them?
It was Drew Doughty was third actually.
Okay, so
Drew Doughty was third or second,
Like,
however you want to look
If you
at
want
it.
to throw 4 up there, I would definitely. It's either Keith or Carlson. Then whoever's second out of those two, then I would go Burns and then Doughty.
Yeah.
I think those are the best defensemen out there. I
Yeah.
have no problem with that. But again, ESPN doesn't know hockey, so
That's true. They don't talk enough about it. All right, so is it the Selke
Selke, yeah.
Selke Trophy? So the Selke Trophy is next, and the winner of that, of
The
course,
defensive forward.
it's two-way player, best two-way player.
Yeah, which is defensive forward,
Right.
basically.
The best two-way player has and always will be, most likely, Patrice Bergeron.
yeah, there's just no question.
He's won
about it.
4 of them
Yeah.
in the decade.
Yeah,
Runner-up is Anze Kopitar.
Anze Kopitar.
Anze Kopitar, thank you. And Jonathan Toews
Yeah,
is actually third, too.
See,
so.
like those are the only options for those.
Really?
It's the only one that makes sense, and they can be in any order.
Yeah.
From 2 and 3.
It's just, I mean...
Because Patrice Bergeron's never not going to be one.
Yeah, you can't argue with a guy who's won the time. Again, he's won it 4 times in this decade.
And I think he's won it 2 times in a row.
Yeah, 2 times in a row.
And he almost
he's-
won it this year, but they had to give it to.
And he's, what, 40, right?
No,
or not-
I think he's like just in his 30s.
I thought
Whatever.
he was older. I don't know, but he's still going strong. Like he's still scoring like crazy, and he's still putting guys against the board.
Yeah.
I still just want to see him put somebody through the glass. That's all.
Yeah,
all I
my
ask
favorite.
for. So next is best rookie season. So the winner for this award is Matthew Barzal.
Yeah.
With runner-ups being Artemi Panarin and then Austin Matthews.
Yeah. I mean,
I
you're going to throw
agree.
Matthews up there because he scored 4 goals his first game of the season in his home opener.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't not throw him up there.
Yeah.
But Kane also had a great rookie season. You could have thrown Ovechkin. You could have thrown Crosby, but Crosby never won the Calder Trophy.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's
you
tough.
could have thrown Nathan McKinnon up there. There's a lot of guys you could have thrown in there, but I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that say, what about Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid
get
needs
into
to
that.
get out of Edmonton, and then
Yeah.
we can talk.
He's
Still I think he's the greatest player in the NHL right now.
Oh, he'll be the new star.
He's already is.
Yeah,
But if he gets out of Edmonton, he'll win 4 Stanley Cups.
there you go. And the last award before we get into some of these fun ones, and we'll just do them really quick. The Jack Adams Award, and the winner of this one is Barry Trotz. He is the winner of the award. His runner-ups are Joe Quintonville and then John Tortorella. You don't seem to agree with that one. Now they're saying this because of obviously he had a fan. He did a great job in Washington. He got them to the Stanley Cup, and now did a really good job with the Islanders in that first season. So, and I know.
I get it.
Yeah.
I would definitely put him like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But to put him 1 over Q
Yeah, it's
is
tough.
a little ridiculous.
And we may have a little bias, but come on, 3 Stanley Cups
3
is hard
Stanley
to look
Cups.
past.
You won your first one in 2010 and broke a 61-year curse, and
Yeah.
then won one 2 years later against Boston, and then won 5. Or you won Game 5
Yeah.
in 2015, and then you had two bad years, and then you were let go at the beginning of the season this past year.
Yeah.
But to have Quinville 2 and to have John Tortorella even in this list and not have Daryl Sutter, not Claude Giroux,
Yeah.
former Boston coach. I can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember
or
the
even
name either.
Cooper
Yes.
from Tampa Bay, even though he doesn't know how to win a playoff series, clearly.
Ooh, taking the knife further.
Dude, they're the worst of the worst.
Oh man! All right, so we'll throw in some fun ones. We'll do these really quickly. So best trade was listed for the decade. PK Subban for Shea Weber.
I don't know about that one because Nashville gave up on him.
That yeah. Well, now who knows? It might even work out for New Jersey. This might be the best trade. Best trade for the new decade. Who knows? Worst trade was Taylor Hall for Adam Larson. I agree with that.
I don't agree with that one.
You really don't agree?
No, I don't, because Hall had a great season when he went to New Jersey, and then he had an injury last year.
Yeah, that's true.
And everything I've heard is he's looking like he's fired back up and bouncing.
I mean, it could work out towards the end here. It's just I think people are looking at Larson now and saying he's putting more fuel to the fire. But I understand
Hall
what
was
you're
hurt.
saying though.
Hall
Yeah.
was hurt. Give him this
Yeah.
year. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. Best goal was Crosby's golden goal in the 2010 Olympics.
No,
I
it
think.
wasn't. It was clearly Kane's 2010 game-winning goal because no one knew it went in but Kane. So get your backwards butt out of here because, first off, that's un-American. That was against the U.S.
We
That's
gotta
un-American.
get through these. We gotta get through these. Highest Q rating, which is for the highest watch players, Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. But ESPN does say that Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews should be the next guys up there, but they're in Canada, so obviously that's going to be pretty hard
For us here.
Yeah. But I agree with that. I mean, those are definitely the 2 most prominent players. Best third jersey was called to be the Ottawa Senators.
How that team? Oh, congratulations! That team finally won something.
Yeah, it was. I guess I agree with that. The worst third jerseys went to the New York Islanders from 2011 to 2014, and then the Buffalo Sabres from 2013 to
I like
2015.
the Sabres jerseys.
From 2013 and
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
those yellow ones.
Yeah,
I didn't like
I
those.
loved
They look
those.
they look like walking mustard
I don't care.
or skating mustard.
What do the
excuse me.
dogs look like on Wednesdays?
Mustard. Well, that's the point. And best ambassador for NHL hockey, certainly it was Gritty. And that is the last of the awards. What, you don't agree with that one?
No, that's not the last one. You forgot the teams.
Oh, that's which. What do you mean? Forgot.
They came out with the teams.
Oh, I didn't get that one.
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Keep talking.
All right. But yeah, those are the single individual awards. So as Tom's trying to pull these up, there's a lot to these ones.
All right,
that
so the
I
best
agree
and
with.
worst NHL teams of the past decade. So the best of the best, number 4 is Los Angeles from 13-14, Boston 2010-11, Pittsburgh 15-16, and number 1 is the 09-10 Blackhawks. Now, I totally agree with this. Literally, the salary cap era has killed the Blackhawks. Because if you look at that roster, you had Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, Duncan Keith, Patrick Sharp, Christopher Teague, Troy Brouwer, Andrew Ladd, Dustin Byfuglien, Bufflin, Seabrook, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Boland, all of them under the age of 28. You had Brian Campbell was 30, Marian Hossa was 31, and Antti Niemi was probably the weakest link on that whole team. And if we didn't have the salary cap, I guarantee we won 4 Stanley Cups in a row.
Okay.
Best runner-ups, the 18-19 Bruins, the 14-15 Lightning. This is 4-1. San Jose in 15-16, and number 1 is the Vancouver Canucks, 10-11. People forget. They remember them for the riots, but that team won the President's Trophy. That team was literally stacked.
Yeah, that team was really good.
Biggest surprises, there's only 3 of these. It's Montreal, the 09-10 season.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Kings of 11-12, and obviously the Vegas Golden Knights of 17-18.
Yep.
Biggest busts, Edmonton Oilers, 17-18 at number 3. Vancouver Canucks, 11-12. Because again, so they were the runner-ups, but they're also number 2 on the biggest bust.
Yeah.
Because
They
you
went from-
literally should have won that series.
They went from almost first to worst.
And then, can you take a guess who's at number 1?
I don't know.
It's the Tampa Bay Lightning of the 18-19 season.
I figured as much.
That's the biggest bust.
Yeah.
Now the worst of the worst, Arizona Coyotes of 14-15, Buffalo Sabres of 14-15,
Yep.
and Colorado Avalanche 16-17.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's definitely right. Those are definitely the worst of the worst. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you guys go. There's our decades team. So, I mean, it's been a fun 10 years now in NHL. We've got one more year still to go, obviously. So hopefully this season will be interesting, and hopefully who knows, maybe these lists will change a little bit. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. But that's going to be our show. I know we ran a little bit longer and we started a little bit later, but technical issues always seem to hit Xbox Sports live show.
Technical issues, because he wouldn't let me touch anything.
Tom, where can they find you, man?
McLovin6193 on Instagram and Twitter. By the way, I won't be on them this weekend. I'm going camping, and I don't want to be on my phone.
There you go. All right. So you can find Tom at his Twitter or Instagram, which he doesn't use, and we've been pushing him to use more and more, but he's just a social media. He's more on his Facebook.
I really am.
Or you can find him in the woods apparently now. So you can find him there probably chopping down a tree or something in his woodsman outfit. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at The Fluffy Guru. Find me on Instagram at Boom Crew Captain. Make sure to follow us on our Facebook page, X-Bomb Sports Live Show. Make sure to follow us at our Twitter at X-Bomb Sports, our Instagram also at X-Bomb Sports, and put that paper away. Put it away. Put it away. Put it away. Follow us on our YouTube page here. Subscribe to our YouTube page.
You thought I had in the
at
wrong
X-Bomb
pocket.
Productions. Like, comment, and subscribe. Answer all the questions we got. Answer all the comments.
Come on, dude. It's now our thing. It's now our thing.
I don't like this thing. I want this thing to change. Thank you all so much for watching. We love you guys. I hate you so much.
You can't hate what you love.
See you guys on Saturday. And as always, much love. And peace out, Boom Crew.